in terms of a single painting, a commission or whatever, sometimes I feel like I'm not giving the client, the patron, enough continued emotional investment in it. I'm just like, okay, here's the painting. See ya. Mm-hmm. I'm out of here. Don't want to think about it again.
Yeah.
And for patrons that spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a piece, I sometimes feel guilty that I'm not like posting more about those pieces or, just making a bigger deal out of it, because I am really grateful to those patrons. And also emotionally, I kind of want to move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and to me, it's a nice thing. This is a nice thing about being an artist in general, is that you kind of leave detritus, the right word. I don't know. You leave objects behind you and they go into other people's lives. And then people say, oh, I saw your book. I saw this painting. And you have like a vague recollection of working on and doing it, but it's been in their life and they've really liked it. And it's anyway, I find that amazing that something that you could have made 20 years ago is still out there having influence.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. Sometimes it's cringy. Sometimes
it depends on how you feel about it.
Beautiful. Yeah. It really depends.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah. I guess it's funny. I mean, I've heard people's authors say this, in a book signing during the Q&A section, a person said, by the way, you wrote this book. And I'm pretty tolerant on explicit sex scenes, but wow. And he was like, yeah, I know. I wouldn't write that today, but I did then.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't do it now. And so in a way you kind of end up apologizing for your past self. Yeah. I mean, because especially we all grow and make mistakes, but when you're an artist, you stick it in your art and then it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it, like you say, it can live on a long time, and it can experience a resurgence or resurrection, or, it can come to the forefront again. You never know what's going to happen with it.
Yeah. Yeah. As people have with social media posts. In 2007, apparently people did a lot of new social media posts they shouldn't have done 20 years later. That weren't looked kindly upon later. So when you sell a work, I mean, I don't know how this is a thing in art. You just don't talk about money. It's like a rule, but it's part of the business. I mean, it's what you do. It's how you make a living if you actually want to do it. But when you sell a piece, I mean, do you have people collect a lot of your work, or is it kind of you sell a piece and then they're happy with that one piece and then they kind of get another piece somewhere else? Or do you have I
think it depends on the collector. I mean, I think there are certain galleries that have a stable of collectors, and the collector will get, maybe 2 or 3 pieces from each artist in that gallery. Mm-hmm. And then, so sometimes when you start with a new gallery, you kind of have this wave or surge in purchases, and then the momentum can kind of die out a little bit once they
work through their established client base.
Have 2 or 3 of your pieces. I'm lucky to have several patrons that just want to get 30 pieces, just they either want to fill their house or, I don't know exactly what everybody's planning. Maybe some people are planning to donate their collection at some point to a museum. Mm-hmm. But it's really great to have some of those patrons that are always like, okay, what's the next thing that you can make for me?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, because then, do people, commission work with you? What percentage do you think is commissions? What percent of it is at gallery? I guess on spec, that's the film term for it.
Yeah. I do. I would say that 10% of what I do quantity wise is commissioned work, but it's probably 30% of my effort and time. And
probably 30% of your income too, right? Because they're paying more for commissions than just... Or are they?
Yeah. There's a big gray area there because a lot of times what happens is I have something begun, mm-hmm. And they'll see it on my wall or at the gallery or whatever. And then it becomes a commission once they say, I want you to finish that for me. So there's a lot of kind of in between feeling on those kinds of things. But
if it's a commission, though, you can justify putting more work into it, though, because it's a sure sell, right? Whereas like if it's on speculation, you're like, boy, I can't work 3 months on a speculative painting or else I'm not gonna be able to pay.
But also
feed my kids.
It just takes so much more effort to do a commission, in my opinion. Like I can do 5 spec paintings with the same amount of energy that it takes to do one commission.
Yeah.
And that's because of like, there's this kind of psychological hold that a patron has over a piece. I don't have the same kind of liberty to make major pivots in the middle of the work creation. Like if I want to take it in a different direction. And so all of those things combine to make a commission just harder to complete than, even with a great patron that's like totally hands off. It's just harder to complete than a spec painting. So, what was there's something else I wanted to say about that. What was your question again?
Oh, like can you put more work into a commissioned work as to a speculative painting?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I was going to say that oftentimes when I start out, like when it's a commission from the beginning, I'll go to somebody's house, measure the walls, talk to them about what they want. And then I will do several mock-ups of different designs, different compositions.
Yeah.
Have them choose something. So that's extra work that I'm not doing for spec paintings typically. Yeah. Although that extra work leads to additional spec paintings because I've got these other designs that aren't chosen that I can do, work I can create on my own terms. But there is extra work there in preparing them with options.
Yeah.
The reason that I do that is to give them input, choice on the front end so that I can create space for myself to make the piece on the back end and have less kind of, managing by the patron.
Okay. Interesting.